Who do you trust? A great question. Chris Hedges answered it. We now live in a nation where doctors destroy health, lawyers destroy justice, university destroys knowledge, governments destroy freedom, the press destroys information, religions destroy morals, our banks destroy the economy, and we destroy the earth. So tell me, who the hell do you trust? Who are you putting all your faith in? Who are you holding accountable for your life? Well, if it ain't you, it better be us, the dirty truth tellers.
I mean, you might as well trust us, because this whole thing about who do you trust and the Chris Hedges piece, we started hearing that there's a vaccine on the way.
Ooh.
And this vaccine has been tested by Moderna and Pfizer, and there's one other company in England. They've all tested it. Now, the interesting thing is they have tested it themselves, and they're saying that there's a 95% success rate, and most importantly, there are no bad side effects.
How do they know this already?
Well, it's pretty amazing, Hassan, because we're not doctors. We're truth tellers, but we're not doctors.
No.
But we kept hearing that for a vaccine to be really tested correctly, it takes a few years. There's like a whole process that they go to find the vaccine. But all of a sudden, within a couple of months, we now have these vaccines, and basically they're coming from pharmaceutical companies, giant pharmaceutical companies. Now, in general, I don't know about you, Hassan, but I trust my crack dealer more than I trust the CEO of a pharmaceutical company.
I hear you.
You know, Pfizer is saying there's no problem with this, that this is fine. We just need to get it out there. And you know, we don't want to act like we don't want this vaccine to work, because we want it to work.
We don't want people dying.
But we're just wondering, can we trust them? I mean, nobody else has tested this vaccine other than Pfizer, other than Moderna.
Nobody.
They're telling you. These are CEOs of pharmaceutical companies, basically the lowest human beings on earth. Now, years ago, when Jonas Salk, he came out with the vaccine for polio, they asked him, do you want to make profit off of this? Do you want this to be a moneymaker for you? He said, well, that's like charging for the sun. Now, that was in the 1950s.
Oh, nobody's doing that now.
And people have changed a lot. Like, when Jonas Salk was coming up with the polio vaccine, the whole world was working together. Like, there was another vaccine that the Soviet Union, who were supposedly our enemies, were working on. Everybody was working together. But today, no, that's not it is, because they want to come up with a vaccine to make a ton of money. So, can we trust the CEO? I love that. The CEO of Pfizer. He's saying, oh, no, this is the greatest invention.
How much medical experience do you think this guy has?
He may have medical experience, but mainly he's a CEO of an American corporation, and no one is lower than the pharmaceutical industry. In our show, we would talk about them. They are the lowest human beings on earth, other than the fact that they gave men Viagra, which is one of the great accomplishments in human history, giving men a chance to fuck until we die. This was great. But other than that, the vaccine thing, it's a little shady, Hassan. I'm a little suspicious, but I understand it because we are in America, and Americans cannot sacrifice. We can't sacrifice. In World War II, our grandparents and those generations, they sacrificed, but we can't do it.
Ask Harriet Tubman.
We can't do it. We want a pill. We are desperate for a pill.
Because get depressed, take a pill.
Let's face it.
Take a pill.
We need to get our nails done. We need to bowl, and we need to hang out with our families on Thanksgiving. We can't sacrifice, not even one Thanksgiving. So we need a pill. It's just like we've been talking about this before. You know, years in the 1980s, like, people would go to psychotherapy and spiritual things. But then they decided, you know what, you don't need psychotherapy because there's no such thing as the mind. It's the brain. And we'll give you a pill, and you take these pills, and you don't have to go to therapy for years. No sacrifice.
Why find
no
out
looking inside yourself.
No
going through the trials and tribulations of trying to find out who you are. You take a pill, and you're fine. And that's the American way. So we understand that. We really do. We understand that Americans can't sacrifice.
Also, Epstein, the thing about it, if you're around our age, what no one's talking about is what the hell are the side effects to this drug. See, by the time we got maybe a good 5-10 years maybe to hang out here.
Basically, if we're lucky. But this is not only us, the side effects are one thing. They're going to give these vaccines to children, and they have no clue what's going to happen 20, 30 years from now.
That's right.
In India, I forget which disease they were trying to fight. They were Bill Gates, another guy. He used to make computers and sell computers, but now he's a vaccine expert.
That's right.
And he wants to vaccinate the whole world and put chips in us.
Oh, particularly
all kinds of
people
stuff.
who look like me, but that's another story.
Yeah, he's very big on, trying to help.
Yeah.
He's trying to help people in
Help
Africa
us.
and India. But he gave some kind of vaccine and it backfired. But my point is, we have no idea. So we're basing this on trust. Who do you trust? And really,
Right.
if we really analyze this, we're trusting pharmaceutical executives. That's who we're trusting, because we couldn't do what every other country did and take tests and trace it. Because that requires us to realize that we're part of a community. And we are not part of a community. In America, we are individuals. We're individuals. And we have a right to bowl, motherfuckers. We have a right to bowl.
That's right. And just down the street from us, the day before Thanksgiving, there were lines of people getting shots so that they make sure that they could go home.
Not shots. They were going to take tests.
To make sure.
There are lines. Because
yeah.
people, they want to be tested.
Yeah.
Although we're not going to trace anything. We're Americans. So we started realizing... if you want to trust, and we really, again, let me go on record as saying, we know there's a lot of people in America who aren't going to take the vaccine because they're anti-vaxxers.
That's right.
They're against all vaccines. And, if you really start investigating, there have been problems with vaccines in the past. Even the polio vaccine had problems with it when they first put it on the market. There was one pharmaceutical company that really didn't do a good job. So there are questions, but people need hope. We need hope because we need to shop. Don't forget.
Who the hell do we trust?
Who do you trust? Now, even you can't even trust your doctor. Tell us, and this is why we are the way we are, so cynical. Tell them our doctor story.
I was at the doctor. Epstein and I were at the doctor getting a checkup. So I'm in one room, and he's in the other. So the doctor is taking care of me. Now, he was a really cool doctor, but when he went outside in the hallway to talk to his staff, he's like, "Can you bring me the fucking chart?" And then he'd come and go, like, "How you doing? Are you
he was a
feeling
little
okay?"
bit, a little psychotic.
A little psychotic.
But he was okay.
He was okay, So, he's like, Naima, I had finished examining. He goes, I need to talk to you, but I want to bring Epstein in the room. I'm like, why? You can tell me right now. No, I just think it's better.
And this had never happened before.
Never.
I have gone with the doctor before.
Never.
I wait for her. So they come out and tell me that the doctor wants to bring you in. And I'm like, oh, my God, what's wrong with her?
What the
happened
hell?
to her? I had a little
I'm
nervous
there,
breakdown.
Right? My blood pressure had already gone up to 4,000, right? And he says to us, he goes, I really like you guys. I think you're fucking cool, right? But I have to go to prison. And I looked at Epstein. I'm like, what?
See, he had been busted with a bunch of other doctors. There was some kind of blood testing scam. They were counting millions of blood tests. And this guy ran a lot of blood tests on me. I used to think he was like Dracula. But basically, they were running this scam, and they crossed state lines because he's a doctor in New York, and the company that was scamming the blood test was in New Jersey. And the feds went after them. He got arrested, and he had to go to jail. This was our doctor. So we started having a little bit of a thing about doctors. And let's not also forget pharmaceutical companies. When they came out with OxyContin, the Sackler family.
Loving family.
They're a very wealthy Jewish family that gives a lot of money to Jewish causes and museums, but they basically addicted everyone in America to OxyContin. And what they were telling dentists were, you can give this pill, it's nothing. There's no side effects.
Help the pain.
Even if you've given somebody you take a drilling, you can give them an oxy.
Yeah.
They addicted the whole country to basically taking heroin for a tooth cleaning. So now they're telling us, no, trust these vaccines. Just trust them.
And that family felt like they really didn't do anything wrong.
Right, they didn't think they did anything wrong.
They were helping people.
They were helping people.
Yeah.
And here's the amazing thing. They got big fines. The government fined them $10 billion. Well, I may be off on that number, but basically they made $50 billion. So if you get fined 10, you made a $40 billion profit.
Not a big deal.
So again, like Chris Hedges said, who can you trust? You can't trust pharmaceutical companies. We can't trust our media. If the press was legitimate, well, they would find out if the vaccines. But you can't trust the media in the United States.
See, the way I was raised, now this is insane. My mother asked you a question. She wanted a straight answer. So when I watch the news, right, and they'll go, well, were you doing this? Nobody answers questions anymore. What kind of bullshit is that?
The media in the United States is about selling products. So
They
if
don't
you
answer
watch
questions.
CNN or if you watch MSNBC, almost all of their commercials are pharmaceutical commercials because their audience are people who make good money and they're at a certain age and they purchase products. So that's why CNN and MSNBC can pay Rachel Maddow $5 million and Anderson Cooper $5 million because they make a lot of money off of the pharmaceutical industry.
And you know the commercials.
So are they going to tell you the truth when their jobs depend on it? Don't forget that. Those are not news people on the net, on these cable channels. They're actors. Basically, they play a journalist.
Yes.
And so you can't trust them. You can't trust your doctor. My doctor is in federal prison right now.
But they say, the commercial, they say, ask your doctor about this.
Yeah.
You're having trouble getting an erection? Well, just try this pill. Now, what are the side effects? You might have an erection for like the next 15 fucking days.
See, when we grew up, we didn't tell the doctor what drug he should give us. Yeah. He told us. But in those days, doctors were healers. They loved your family. They come to your house. Nowadays, and it's really not totally their fault, but doctors today are really businessmen. They're in business. Because as long as you have health care as a business, then it's to the hospitals, to the doctors, to the pharmaceutical companies' interest to make money off of you. And let's not forget, in the United States, 70% of Americans want universal health coverage, but we can't get it because another group of people who you totally can't trust are politicians. They're all owned as well.
That's right.
So on that very, who the hell do you trust? So you can trust us, and we wrote a book called What You Can and Cannot Say During Interracial Sex. And because this is all about trust tonight, we're going to read a chapter for you that is also about trust.
Yes. And it started out with, why do women fake? Why do women fake a climax? So we took a poll. When we used to perform live, we would take a poll and we would ask women. And we're just going to read you some of the responses that we got. From true, these we didn't make them up, this is true.
That's really a great segue. We went from who can you trust to women faking orgasms.
Yes.
Now, when I first met Hassan, she's a great actress. So I was like, I hear the screaming and Big Daddy and Epstein. I was like, is she faking? Is she faking? Because she's very convincing. I mean, if you've seen her act, she's a very... Even her fake orgasms, she is like Meryl Streep when she's coming. This is the Meryl Streep of orgasms. Right. But Hassan, let's share with them.
All right. So this is what we got from the audiences. I was almost there and I noticed he had a huge hairy mole on his shoulder. His cock was too small and I just couldn't stop laughing. His cock was too big and it hurt, but I was too embarrassed to say it hurts. I was almost there and a song came on that reminded me of my ex-boyfriend. I was almost there and I couldn't relax because my bathroom and my bedroom was not clean. I was almost there, but his breath smelled. I was almost there, but he had a hairy back. I was almost there, but my cat came in because my cat didn't like anyone getting intimate with me and wanted a three-way, so we couldn't do anything. Now, all of these women faked their orgasm to get the sex over with. The last Oscar-worthy fake orgasm I performed was a few years before I met Epstein. I'm not going to lie. Yes, I did.
So you've never faked with me?
No. And this is the reason why. And it's in our book, What You Can and Cannot Say During Interracial Sex. You see, Meryl Streep would have been impressed with my thespian skills. First, I started out just telling him how relaxed he made me feel, even though I was tight as a drum. No.
Okay.
This was not you.
You sort of said the same thing to me. That's your
Then
sex
I
talk.
moaned softly. Oh, this feels so good. I got louder and breathy like I had asthma. Oh my God, this is really good. Please, hit the core. I yelled his name over and over again, and then I threw in a Big Daddy in the mix, screaming and crying and praising Jesus, even though I didn't believe in Jesus. The next act, I really laid it on with acting techniques. I mean, I'm really proud of it. I told him he was just too much and I couldn't take it. Like it was just too much. Like I was like, oh please, oh my God, stop. You're driving me crazy. I just can't take it. Oh, Big Daddy. I even threw in a poppy.
We love to hear poppy.
Even threw in a poppy.
You Latina girls, you drive us nuts with that Papi Chulo stuff.
Right,
oh,
right.
man.
This was not even a Spanish
I
dude.
beg her to call me Papi Chulo. Because she calls me Tata Shana, like a Jewish name. It's not really that.
That doesn't do it, yeah. I was feeling nothing, but I believed I had to put on this show. With all the strength I had, I asked him to leave. I tore up his number and had a good cry along with some deep soul searching. I realized that I was feeling shame, embarrassment, and insecurity about myself and my own wishes and desires. I didn't know, how do you communicate to someone what turned you on? How do you say that to someone? Or would they think I was aggressive? Would they think I was a hoe? Would they think that I'm too dominant? I was giving someone else the power of control and dictate what my joy was for me and how I should ask for it. You see, I believed that men were responsible for my come. It's as if I didn't have any say in the matter to me, what pleased me and what I wanted. It was time to face the truth. I was living a lie. So I made a promise to myself from that day forth. I will never, ever fake another climax again. And what did I do to assist me? I went and got me a fucking vibrator. Because I think every woman should have three things: a peaceful mind, a line of credit, and a vibrator. And I never faked again.
You are one deep sister, let me
That's
tell you.
Right. I never.
Well, she never faked again.
Never faked
Not
again.
once with me ever.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's not getting out the bed till he finishes. Okay.
So we would also ask men, have they ever faked an orgasm? And we got some weird answers, but here they are. It was very rare to find a man who would admit to faking an orgasm. Most men say they're determined to come and will do so no matter what the obstacles are. Let's say a man is tired, okay? They don't use that as an excuse. If you're tired, you drink a Red Bull.
Exhausted.
You do some espresso. And if necessary, you do some cocaine, okay? Usually they'll mess your dick up quickly, but if you get the cocaine and go right for it, it usually will work. Let's say you meet a woman and you think you like her. You take her home and when you realize she's so annoying. I mean, by the time you get home, you just can't even really stand her. So you're saying to yourself, you know what? Am I this desperate? Do I do it or do I not do it? But then you remember the truth. You're a dog. And what you want to do is come. Rough. Another guy was saying that he was having sex with a woman who had rolls of fat around her waist. Now, if you're into that, it's great, but at first he said he was turned off, but then he decided, you know what, I'm going to make this work. So he put his dick in her belly fat and had a great orgasm. And now he told us that he's developed a serious fetish for tummy tucking his dick. So, men will make it work. If we want to come, this is a big thing for us. But I'm sure there are men who have faked it because they really weren't that into it, but then they started it. So maybe they faked to make it speed up, But don't ever fake. If you're not into it, you got to realize you're not into it and just move on. So we are the Dirty Truth Tellers, and who can you trust? And you can trust us. And by the way, if you've seen our shows before, tonight we're doing the show way later at night, so it's very it's like early morning hours. So it's interesting if anybody could detect a difference in our style. Usually we were shooting these earlier in the day, but and here is our special guest truth teller. Please welcome the great Clit Johnson. Clit, thank you for coming out so late at night. It's almost 1 o'clock in the morning.
I know.
And here you are.
I know.
Please welcome Clit Johnson. So Clit, welcome aboard. And you usually have something for us. Have you ever faked an orgasm?
Well, let me tell you something. Hell no. See, when I was a young girl, I started exploring my body. and I found that magical spot. And I fell in love with my namesake, my clit. So I'm not about faking a goddamn thing, honey. No. You're going to have to work. You're going to have to work, baby.
I don't understand the whole thing, really. Like, why fake it? Like, if it's not happening,
Because a lot of women don't know how to express themselves, right? They feel all uncomfortable. They don't want to look like they wild. Fuck that shit. When me and you was in the bed, we gonna do it. You gonna find out, if it's my elbow, you better know. You better go there. You better be able to do that shit. But no, I'm not about that faking. Women need to own that shit. And it's a thing too. For a lot of women, you're worried about what they gonna think about you, how they gonna feel like they gonna call you the next day. If that determines you giving up ass, then don't go there.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't go there. Just don't see him. Every time I have fucked, and let me tell you, I have fucked, and I enjoy it. See, I enjoy fucking. I think it's a good release.
Do you enjoy getting fingered? Like,
now that's my thing.
I was thinking about that. When you're young, a lot of sex is about fingering.
I love big
but
fingering.
as you get older, like we've been married over 30-something years, and not with you, but with Hassan.
Yeah.
And like the whole fingering thing, like when you're young, fingering is like you get in the.
I love fingering.
Like,
people don't finger anymore.
No, they don't finger as much anymore.
Finger, they tell me I got arthritis. Just put that shit up in there on the left side, then the right side.
Yeah, arthritis, because you're fucking a lot of old guys.
Yeah. Well, I'm an equal opportunist. I take.
But I was definitely thinking about that.
Not dead. I don't like them dead.
That fingering thing, you put the thing in there, and you move it around. And,
I love fingering.
Yeah, I was a big fingerer. I was very well. That was one of my talents. That I was extremely good
I was like a fucking waterfall with that shit.
Yeah.
But when you get older, men, let me tell you something.
Keep on fingering.
Keep on fingering. Fingering is good. It's good.
Yes, it is.
I
good.
like it.
Yeah.
It makes you smile while you're sitting there, right? And while they're fingering, right, you could be, he could have one finger down there, one on the titty, one talking shit to you. You fucking explode.
Plus, when you finger, you're not gonna have a heart attack. Like no guy has ever dropped dead fingering. Sometimes when you get older, sometimes when I'm having sex with Hassan, I'm like working really hard and. I'm not in the best physical shape at my age. I'm thinking I don't really want to, die. But then I'm thinking, you know what? If I died fucking Hassan, it's a guarantee no one else will ever fuck her because her pussy kills.
No, nobody's going to fuck her pussy.
Nobody, if a man finds out that a man died in your pussy, that pussy is out. That's a dead pussy. No, it's a killing pussy.
I don't know, because Erykah Badu got a reputation. People love her fucking pussy. It's something about that woman. She just drives me crazy. I understand what it is.
What else do you understand?
No, because when she's with a man, let me tell you what she do. Not a fucking thing. She know how to play it.
Wasn't she? No, that was Gwyneth Paltrow. Gwyneth Paltrow was selling some kind of.
No, Erykah sold
her smell.
Incense.
Right,
Erykah sold incense that smell like pussy.
You know, one of the things women didn't like when you fingered them if you smelled your fingers. That would really piss women off.
See, I like that.
You do like that, really?
Ain't no smell and shit. I mean, if you stink, but that's understandable. If you smell like a porgy, then you got a problem. That's all I'm saying. Mm-hmm. But let me tell you something I'm a little mad about. They had the award show that just passed, and J-Lo was on there. J-Lo. I like J-Lo. But, baby, if you didn't think nobody noticed you stole Beyonce's breath, every fucking move she made, you saw Beyonce in a video.
See, you can't trust anyone anymore because people are stealing.
Oh, they're not creative?
Everybody's taking each other's acts now. Like, that's a big thing.
Nobody's taking your act.
Nobody would
steal. Ain't nobody stealing
nobody is stealing his act.
With Hassan,
but in general, people because years ago, like, this whole thing where you can, like, sample people's music. We call it sampling. It's basically stealing. The only people who make money on art right now are like superstars and then the people who own the platform.
Oh, influencer.
The influencers, those people make money.
What the hell do they do?
And you know what? What do they do? What it is they have a lot of followers. Like, we discussed this on our last show. Like, we're getting like 100 to 150 people to watch these YouTube videos. So we're not influencing anyone. You need like a million people.
Not influence a damn thing.
If we had a million...
I told them if they put me on the show more, they have more influence.
You know, but these influencers, they like come on and they'll wear like glasses. Let's say you were a big influencer.
I am a big influencer.
Every other woman would need to buy those
now,
glasses.
I don't want you dressing like me. I don't like that.
And you're not an
shit.
influencer.
I don't
That's
like
what
that
these
shit.
people do. There's one on TikTok. That's another thing. Like, we were thinking about TikTok, and then I heard
You
all
too
you can
old,
do.
baby.
But it's like you only can put up a 1 minute thing. Like, that's it.
You can't get it together in 1 minute?
1 minute?
Oh,
come on, man.
Please,
I mean, come on, 1 minute. No. I'm not a minute man, honey.
You're not a minute man? Okay, all right. Show you not. Yeah. Now, I ain't never had no sex with no white man, so I don't know.
Really? You've never crossed that racial line?
I had Chinese.
You had Chinese.
I had Japanese.
Right. But no white guys.
And indigenous.
Really?
Yeah.
Have you ever fucked a Samoan?
You better believe I did.
Okay, I always want to know that. If
Rub
you fucked
that
a
nose
Samoan,
right in this clip.
then you've
you've
done it all. So anyway, please welcome. She's been here for a while now.
What's the matter with you, man?
It's late at night. This is our first late at night show, and I'm a little tired at my age. So you
need to stop saying that, man.
Why?
That about your age and you tired. Don't nobody want to hear that shit.
I'm a truth teller. I'm telling the truth. When I was young, I worked in clubs.
I ain't tired, baby.
Stay up till 6 in the morning. Now 1 o'clock. I'm tired.
Let me just tell you something. I had a young 36-year-old. That motherfucker, when I finished with him, was lying in the corner.
That's young to you, 36 years old.
That's young.
Wow.
Yeah.
Clit Johnson.
Let me just tell you the story. He was laying in the corner, sucking his thumb. Couldn't believe what I put on his ass. You understand me? In fact, I got a 26 downstairs waiting for me now.
All right, let's say goodbye to Clit Johnson, folks.
Yeah.
So what a amazing, interesting stuff. So, we're the Dirty Truth Tellers, and we're here to tell you the truth. Tonight we talked about vaccines. Then we quickly got into fake orgasms and fingering. Where else on the YouTube are you going to get this type of stuff?
Bye, Clit.
So what we also wanted to do, we've been receiving, and please, if you comment on the videos, on YouTube or on Facebook, we're gonna take some of the comments that we get, and we're gonna give you a shout out. Like, we recently got a comment on the show that we did called "The Fear of the Big Black Cock," and this guy Juan, who's a listener, watcher, whatever you call it, he said this is a thing. He said that the show was brilliant. He's one of these people that says that we're both brilliant. Some people, they prefer Hassan. And there was a guy once, maybe 4 years ago, who preferred me. It doesn't happen a lot, but he's one of you. You're both really funny. And he loves Stevie Sports doing sports. And that was Stevie's first fan. And Juan, I told Stevie that he has a fan, and he was really moved. And he'll be on the show.
He was crying.
And Stevie was really moved.
He was crying.
So Juan, wherever you are, I don't know where you are, but thank you for your comment. And then we had a really great comment. Hollis. She wrote in also on the show The Fear of the Big Black Cock, stating that she's a lesbian, and she said that she tries not to think about black cocks, white cocks in general.
No cock.
But she said she really loves the show.
She understood.
She understood it, and she said that she loves us. And that was
because we're not saying that you want to necessarily fuck the big black cock.
No, so we want comments.
Yes.
Now, when we used to do our live show, people would often review those shows on wherever they buy the tickets from, and most of the people gave us pretty good reviews, but every once in a while we got some really brutal review, and we would always read it to people. So we haven't really gotten brutal reviews from this show yet because no one knows it's on other than people who already know us or at least know us from Facebook. So once we stretch out a little bit, if that ever happens, we should start getting, because on YouTube, the reviews are brutal about stuff.
But you ever notice, like, you'll go on and listen to a song, right? And then people will be responding to the song, and then somebody goes, well, they're not as good as so-and-so. Well, who the fuck says that?
But that's not even, I'm not even talking about that. I mean, people are vicious on YouTube.
Well, then they start talking about you have no taste.
Yeah, and they battle each other. So we want that. So if you really, give us, we want
No, I can't handle feedback.
We want you to tell us.
I cannot.
I don't really like it, but it's funny for comedy. Somebody, we once said that this happened to us when we were in Canada. The woman reviewed our show and actually said that It was during a Fringe festival, and it was in Ottawa. Ottawa is a very strange city. We did a bunch of stuff in Canada, but that was one. Ottawa, there was a folk music concert. Do you remember that?
Yes,
and
yes.
people were protesting that it was an acoustic folk music concert, that the music was too loud.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
Ottawa's
yeah.
a kind of uptight town, but we got this review where the person actually said that our show, and that was the show we would call The Black and the Jew Go Buddhist, was the worst theatrical experience she had ever had in her life.
In her whole entire life.
That it was the worst show in the history of theater, basically, and
Yes,
that you couldn't even call it theater. And I was like, wow, Hassan, like, we did the worst show in the history of theater.
Yeah, and we'll put the review up.
I mean,
we put it up.
Because we're truth tellers.
That's
We're
right.
truth tellers.
That's right.
And we want to tell the truth. And hopefully you enjoyed the show today, and we'll see you again. But please stick around, because we have a review of the show coming from the Jackies. So thank you very much.
Who goes on there and gives their bad reviews?
Nobody does that
What
shit.
the hell is wrong with
That's
them?
the stupidest shit I ever saw. Nobody wants to hear it from somebody. And they're
The
gonna put
worst
it on.
show. The worst show in
worst
history.
show.
Why did we get attached to these
I
guys?
can't fucking believe that.
See, people need to know who we are. We're
We're the
Jackies.
Jackies. That's right.
We
have
don't
no
have
body.
bodies. We're formless.
That's right.
We don't smell.
No, we're not human.
Humans, you stink. If you don't
Yeah.
take a shower,
all that
my
shit
God.
about coming and all that shit, we just fly into your coochie and
We
fly out.
don't have bodies.
No.
We're above that. We're above that. We're
That's
empty.
right.
We're just consciousness condensed.
Yeah, who do you trust? You trust the Jackies, okay?
You trust us because we'll tell you the truth.
The
First of
fucking
all,
truth.
you need perfume because you stink.
Humans stink.
That's why. All
Humans
right?
stink.
And if you get a bad review, you keep that to your fucking self.
Nobody wants to hear it.
We're the Jackies.
Yeah.